The Total War Grand campaigns give us some truly epic experiences, and when they're done well, it is grand strategy at its finest. However, some of the greatest moments come when we stop for a second and focus right in, whether that be focusing on a specific time or a specific place. I'm Strat Tom, and these are the top 5 best Total War expansions. Number 5, The Age of Charlemagne for Total War ATTILA. This campaign came as something of a surprise to Total War ATTILA fans, as it kinda came out of nowhere, set long after the purview of the original game. Without the use of mods, I think this campaign is as close to a Medieval 3 that we're going to get. The campaign is set purely in Europe, but looks at the Dark Ages, particularly, as the name might suggest, at the formation of the Frankish Empire under Charlemagne. It's a great campaign to get stuck into, as this is a period of history that doesn't get enough love in my opinion. The Age of Charlemagne campaign gives a fresh look to some aspects of ATTILA, and while I may not often say that the removal of features is the mark of a good expansion, I do enjoy the more traditional Total War approach in this expansion. Without the use of hordes or the ability to destroy entire settlements, some of the more frustrating elements of ATTILA's base game are gone. It's a great expansion that I think is slept on a little by the Total War community. If this is one you haven't checked out, I'd recommend that you do. Number 4, Caesar in Gaul for Total War Rome 2. A game based on one of the most famous military campaigns in history was always going to have the potential to be pretty special. Caesar in Gaul was, for me, the campaign that captured the essence of Total War Rome 2. One issue I always had with the base game is how I felt no connection or agency with the characters I controlled. Generals meant nothing to me. If they died, which they often did due to the fast-paced march of Father Time in the base game, their deaths meant very little. One click of a button and they were replaced. Caesar in Gaul takes the excellent gameplay of Rome 2, but gives it those detailed story elements that the base game lacked. Plus, the huge scale of the map that focuses solely on Gaul and parts of Germania gives real weight to the enormity of the decade-long struggle that the likes of Caesar and Vercingetorix went through. Number 3, Barbarian Invasion for Rome Total War. Set during the fall of the Western Empire, Barbarian Invasion set you the task of either saving Rome or destroying it. Barbarian Invasion was an ambitious title, especially for an expansion. The time period was one of immense change, with old power structures beginning to crumble and the old gods starting to fade from Europe, replaced by the relentless tide of Christianity. Barbarian Invasion brought with it a wealth of new features that would be carried forward into the rest of the series, such as managing religion or the idea of emergent factions. All factions needed a top to bottom overhaul to make this game what it was, and in some ways it felt like you were getting a new game. I mean, it wasn't entirely new though. You might be slightly annoyed if they'd made Rome Total War and then called Barbarian Invasion a brand new game and charged you a full price for it, but they wouldn't do that now, would they? Number 2, the Teutonic campaign for Medieval 2 Total War. Medieval 2's Kingdoms expansion was incredible, with not 1 but 4 new campaigns for you to sink your teeth into. Not all 4 were great, but I would say that 3 out of the 4 were very enjoyable. My favourite of them though was the Teutonic campaign. Set during the Baltic Crusades, the Teutonic campaign is the last battle of paganism versus Christianity in Europe. I think that I like the Teutonic campaign the most for a variety of different reasons. The first is the music. The main theme from the Teutonic campaign is my favourite of all Medieval 2, and it's a pretty stellar soundtrack all round. The first is the sheer amount of new and meaningful features that it includes. I love that you can form a new faction under the right conditions. I love the fact that there is a real sense of importance given to religion, as it affects who and what you can recruit or ally with. I love the missions, which are essentially pagan killing tourist trips. As the Teutonic Order, nobles will show up from across Europe, armies in tow, and will want you to take them round crusading, killing pagans, sacking their towns and cities. If you satisfy their bloodlust, I mean piety obviously, then you will be given a healthy donation when they leave. My third and last big reason for loving this campaign is that it looks amazing. The aesthetics are the best of the entire game. Whether it be the pagan worshipping Lithuanians or the frightening regalia on the armour of the Teutonic Knights, this campaign looks, sounds and feels great. It is the best of an already incredible game. Number 1. The Fall of the Samurai, the Total War Shogun 2. I'm getting one thing out of the way quick. Some people will argue that you can buy Fall of the Samurai as a standalone now, and so it is technically a Total War Saga game and not an expansion. It started life as an expansion, and I want to talk about it, and it's my list, so if you've got an issue, go make your own list. Fall of the Samurai is exactly what a perfect expansion should be. You take an already amazing gameplay experience and you freshen it up, giving a totally new experience. Fall of the Samurai gives us an excellent example of the old world meeting the new. In this, it does what no other Total War game does, or does well at least. Set during the Boshin War, we see Japan in the midst of a civil war, shortly after its period of prolonged isolation has come to an end. One side is fighting to overthrow the Tokugawa shogunate and restore the Emperor Meiji to power. The other is trying to secure the power of the old order. European nations and the United States are trying to influence Japan and invest in the country, bringing it up to speed with the industrialised world with frightening speed. This creates a sense of conflict between the old traditions of the samurai and the new industrialised warfare of the Western world. Films like The Last Samurai will have you believing that the battle lines were filled entirely with sword-wielding samurai on one side and gun-toting imperialists on the other, but the truth is never so black and white. Both sides were trying to catch up with this new world that was forced upon them. Fall of the Samurai gives you the option to fight for the new order or the old, or perhaps to forget them both and forge a new destiny. And there you have it. That's my opinion. What's yours? Leave your own top 5s and any suggestions for future lists in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I've been Strat Tom, and I will see you next time.